saying back in my hood, ain't no sex for the dickless. Dookie doesn't grow on trees. You can't wipe your ass with a tiny blade of grass, and you can't get milk from a bee. And that's the damn truth. You can't really get nothing from a bee except a hard time, man. God damn, bees are one of the strangest things, man. They're like supposedly like the caretakers of the planet, and they're super good and positive for the earth and shit. But yet, like, the one tiny downfall is they got beef and they have swords. They have poisoned swords. To them, it's got to be at least like a knife or like a dagger size, To them, the size is it's way bigger, Like, the size matters when you're like a small insect, or if you're like a tiny mouse and you get stabbed up by a bee, man. That's like a fucking dagger. But I got a lot of bee stories, man. I think my bee experiences go way back. My first bee experience, I was a tiny kid and I had found a bumblebee and I put it in my hand like this. And I was coming into the house to show mom and it stung me right on the hand. I remember that. That was out in Delray, East Mason Avenue. And then there was another time a little ways after that where I was at my grandma's house out on Holmes Run Parkway in Alexandria, Virginia, and there's this trail. It's like an aqueduct, but everybody goes on it. There's like a part you can run by it and stuff, and I think out in California aqueducts are like Slumville, but out here it's like something cool. People are like, "Wow, look at that." So I was on the side of it, climbing up the little slope, and to get a grip, I grabbed this piece of grass that was growing out of the concrete. The concrete had like lines and holes in it and stuff, and cracks and all that. And there was a piece of grass, and I pulled the grass, and the whole grass came out. Like a big clump of it came out. And then along with it, just bees. I remember that's what I yelled. Bees. Because there's not much you can yell when they're after you. You feel me? when you see like that little tiny army, man, and it's almost like you can see their faces, don't sting till you can see the white of his ass cheeks. And they stung me on my back and the top of my ass cheeks as I was running. I got some on my arms. Mostly it was back shots because they would just fly right up behind me and zip, and just like sting me up. But yeah, I got stung 9 times that day, and that was that was crazy, thing to have happen as a small child. You're like man, and like even now thinking back to it, it's like, wow, that was super intense, man. Like, that was cool. I don't know. But what wasn't cool was a few years later, we were out in the neighborhood, and there was a bamboo patch by our house. This was out on Etzel Road in Alexandria, Virginia. And we would go back through the bamboo patch and just kind of explore or whatnot because we weren't allowed back there. So it was like basically like the first time we went back there. We climbed the fence, went under the fence, one of the two. I think it was under the fence, actually. Yeah. So, but either way, we're back there, me and my 2 sisters, Kelly and Sarah. We're just exploring. Next thing I know, I hear Sarah start yelling. And I look over to her, and it's just like this fog of bees around her, and she's just swinging her arms and everything. And then they started getting me and Kelly, because we were pretty close to her. So we start getting stung, and I'm just like, shit, Kelly, run. So I see Kelly's already gone. She's like by the fence. She ain't fucking around with the bees. But Sarah is in the fog still, going down. Like she's getting stung and she was dropping to her knees. She wasn't running. So I had to run into the fog of bees and just grabbed her and just started pulling her, and she came with me and we got to the fence and got out and she was all crying and shit because she got stung all up and I had got stung all up too, man. But honestly, what I was thinking about at that moment, I remember I was like, man, what if she's allergic? Because mom, if she gets stung one time, she's like, she turns into the blueberry kid from the Willy Wonka factory, you know. So I was worried about that, but luckily, it didn't happen. I think a good thing because getting stung that many times as a kid kind of prepares your body for later on, and maybe you don't have that allergy, or whatever. It's kind of like being around cats. If you're not around them ever, then it's going to affect you when you are. But if you think you're extremely allergic to cats, all you got to do is really love one. Get to know one, like cuddle up with it all the time. I mean, eventually what you find to be like extreme discomfort actually just becomes normal. To me, I mean, sometimes I feel itchies or something, or I have to like go wash my eyes because I feel like maybe there's dander in there. But that's like almost never. Sometimes I feel that way, but I'm pretty clean. Vacuum. Anyway, back to the bees. Then the next time I was I encountered bees, I was out with some of my friends, Bryn Mawr Park, off of Etzel Road, Alexandria, Virginia, and we were back there smoking weed, and I was climbing on this log, and I was taunting people to throw rocks at me so I could prove my prowess at, being a fucking retard. And they threw the rocks, and it landed in the log's root area where there just happened to be set up a hive. Now, these weren't no everyday average bees. I saw them come out of the hive and I was like, man, those look like little tiny ants, flying ants. That's what I thought it was at first, until I felt one of them hit me on the rib cage, and it felt like a punch. There was force behind it. It felt like there was literal kinetic like drive behind it because I almost fell off from the hit. And then one of them hit me right in the temple, and it was like I got punched by a boxer. It was like somebody punched me in the face. It was not like a stinging. It wasn't like one of those ow, I just got stung. It was like a boom. I mean, I can't explain how it was like that, but it was. I felt like I got punched. And I fell over and into the water on my side, and I started getting stung. I got stung on my face, on my arms, and my legs. So I got stung like 7 times on one side, and I rolled into the water, and all that happened within like 2 seconds. I mean, they were just on me. And I remember as I was falling, it was like I could see the world, but there was this one bee that was like, zzz, like with me. He was like, I'm right here. And, he wasn't even he wasn't falling. He was just going with me. But but he was down there when I hit the ground, and he probably was the one that stung me right on the face. And as soon as I felt my body get lit up by bees, I was like, oh, and I rolled my whole body into the water, and I crawled forward until I was in the deep water, and I just kind of left this half of my face out of the water because it hadn't got stung yet. And the rest of it just, I was leaving in the water because it felt good. Just the cold water, it just felt good. One of my friends came running back to help me, Josh. He came on or running on back, to get me out of there. Luckily, the bees were all trying to get their nest back in order by the time he showed up, and a couple of the guys were just really far away. They didn't want to be anywhere near the bees, and you know, one of them, who I'm not going to name in this episode, you'll have to rewatch my episodes. One of them was just like, I'm going to devour this J. I'm going to fucking smoke this dude's J. He's dead in the water, but if I can fucking smoke the most of this J right now while everyone's distracted. Oh man. They say if bees go, then humans will go within a set number of years. Everything will just go to shit, and we won't be able to survive. The ecosystem will go. And then, once that happens, humans are running on fume, and we're going to be eating fucking Soylent Green. Eventually, if the ecosystem goes, we're going to be recycling our dead, bro. We're going to be making sure that our family gets pregnant every year. That way, every 9 months, we can have a roast baby. Meow. What are you doing down there? I got a cat, and no, I'm not playing that game. It's always like, hey, I'm over here. Hey, come to me. As soon as I reach down, zip, she runs away. So if I just ignore her, and she starts coming back, and she wants, yeah, see? Oh, I wasn't talking to you? What happened? You want to come up here? No, you just want to play games. Come here. Come here. That's what they do, man. Hey, cats are not the only creatures on this planet that play super weird games. My game is you gotta be quick, and you gotta get them. Now let me say something about this kitty. This kitty right here, she was an outside cat. It took me a good 2 years to get her to be like, okay, I'll let you hold me. So we do this, and sometimes I lay her down in the bed, and we just lay there, and she just looks at me, and she gets it now, And if you wink, you guys wink at each other. What? Anyway, that's my cat's ass, and that's probably the best way to end this. What do you think? Bees awesome, bees bad. I got a beehive out on my balcony. It's actually probably a wasp nest, and I'm just kind of contemplating what to do about it. Made me think about my whole life's adventures with bees, and I'm sure there will be more to come. So, and next time I get viciously attacked by a swarm, I'll let you know in real time. Until then, you guys be safe. Go downstairs, like, subscribe, please. Please, I'm trying to hit 100. Just give me 100. Look, listen, 100 is a very modest number. If I hit 100 subscribers, that's very modest. I'm not going to get anything from it except just the pleasure of knowing that 100 people might look at my thing, what I have to say, and me being a very sociable person, I have a lot to say, and it's kind of hard being cooped up and separated from the world. Kind of wish I was a part of a beehive right now.